it's Kelly. How are ya? I'm the Frugal Fun Mum here in Adelaide, Australia. Welcome to the channel and to today's video where we have a collab. Yay! A very good friend of mine, Frugal Mum Down Under. We've been chatting lately away from YouTube. Yes, the world does exist. About all things that we have similar and what we like to do. So go and check her channel out. She has lots of fun stuff over there. Low spend months, grocery haul, food challenges, all the good stuff we like to watch. So go and check her channel out and tell her I said hey, and drop her a comment below. You can go and watch the video that she has of what she likes to read and watch and do. And then if you're here from her channel, well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining with us today. I do similar content, grocery hauls. I do a lot of markdown shopping and then markdown meals, what we eat for the week, and how I do food challenges and all that good stuff as well. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, please subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you as part of our Frugal Fun family. So today's video is all about what I like to watch and read and do, of course, as frugally as possible. I had to add that bit in. So I'm going to talk you through the things that I do for free to get what I like to watch and read and do, and then show you some of those things as well. I have always been an avid reader ever since I was very, very young. My very first author that I got to fall in love with from memory was Roald Dahl and reading The Witches. It is still one of my favorite books of all time. And then he also wrote Boy. I just loved it. I loved the style of writing and the memories and how he describes his childhood. So if you haven't read that book, please go and check it out, as well as the funny ones like the Twits and things like that. So they are my earliest memories of reading, and I used to wear glasses when I was younger to help with reading. Now I need glasses for the vision, so I think I'm short-sighted because I can't see long distances. And then sometimes when I read, I'll take my glasses off so I can read here. I do a mixture of real books and e-books or audio books because I tend to be driving a lot or I'm around the house, and I can listen to a book quicker than what I can read. Also, a lot of the books are sometimes by the author's own voice. I just finished listening to The Testament, which was read by Anne Dow, who is Aunt Lydia. And so it's very freaky to be hearing Aunt Lydia in your head where she's like, Nicole, stop that. It's like you're there. So I highly recommend some audiobooks if you like that kind of thing. And the way that I listen for free, because I'm frugal, is to download an app called BorrowBox. BorrowBox, you're able to get access to a whole lot of audiobooks online. It's probably not as widely full as like Audible and things like that. This video is not sponsored in any way at all, but BorrowBox I discovered through my local library. So you just need to be a member of your library and you put your details in and it gives you a free online account. There's also an app called Libby, L-I-B-B-Y, and I had that account as well, but I found that the same books were on BorrowBox as what they were Libby, so I've just stayed with BorrowBox for now. And you're able to get in there a full search record of what you have. You can put books on like hold or a watch list for I'd like to read that. You can reserve books, you can listen to book, and it keeps track of the books that you have borrowed. So sometimes I borrow a whole lot of stuff thinking that I'm going to get through everything, and of course I don't. So then it gets automatically returned and I can borrow it again down the track, but at least I've got then a record of what I kind of borrowed and didn't get around to, so I can re-borrow it for next time. The second way I get lots of free books is from little street libraries. There are little libraries around, I think they're Australia-wide at least, and people just have them near their houses or they're near schools, and they're just a little cupboard or a box, and inside people drop off books, they borrow books. It's like a free little library. You can also see little stalls inside like Westfield shopping centres, so you can just take and give books as you see fit. There's quite a few of them around in Adelaide, so I'll stop and have a look at them time to time. I probably need to stop having a look though, because I already have quite a collection of books that I've been collecting for free from some of these places with the intention to be able to read them and return them, but I just kind of need to work out my scheduling a bit better that makes me sit down and read, because I'm focused more on go go go. So I tend, as I said, to have audiobooks going a lot more. Sometimes I'll borrow the book too, so it's a physical reminder to myself to look for it in the audiobook, and then once I've got it on the borrow box, I'll take the book back to where I got it. So I do have a couple of books that I have just finished reading, both in their physical form and in an audiobook. So I had these books and I started reading them and then found borrow box, so I was listening to them. Some books I sit there and read along with it, because some of them in the audiobook they'll say abridged version, so you don't quite get the details of like she walked from the window to the floor and then paced backwards and forwards. You'll just get some of the dialogue and their interaction. Other stuff is word for word, so depending on what kind of reader you are, if you're just like skip 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 go go go, then audiobooks might be the way for you. I tend to have mine on double speed. So I just finished listening to the Testaments, and in slow motion it goes, she looked out the window, she looked across the room, and I'm like, oh, hurry up. So now I put it on speed. It's like, she looked out the window, she looked at the room, she paced the floor, she wondered to herself, what's going on? That's about how quickly I listen to audiobooks, because I just need that constant go, go, go. So I've got a couple of books here that I finished. This one was last year, The Constant Princess by Philippa Gregory. She is one of my most favorite authors right now. I love all like her Tudor series and things like that. I know that she's written a couple of other books that I do have that I will eventually get around to it. So that's my mission this year, to really start knuckling down into reading. So this book I did start as a physical book. I got about a quarter of the way through and then found it on borrow box and then listened to it, because and I finished this book in like 2 days. I was just constantly listening to it. So when I got a book that I absolutely love, I'm just addicted to it until I go through it. The next book I have is The Women's Pages by Victoria Perman, and I loved this book. This book is based in Sydney in 1942. World War II has literally just finished, and they talk about the street party and celebrations. It's just magnificent. And this lady is a journalist with a paper, and she gets put in charge of the Women's Pages section in her paper to talk about the war and all those kind of things. And she lives in an apartment with her best friend, because both of their husbands went away to war, so it was convenient for both of them to go live together. Both of them had only been married a very, very short time before both of their husbands went off to war. So yeah, her name is Tilly, and she is a correspondent for the newspaper doing fashion and makeup, and it talks about how she goes through and meets a whole lot of people and developing her column and her style, and then visiting her family and how her family aren't well and how she has to deal with that, and kind of how the depression comes into it with rationing of food and materials and the post-war boom. Just overall, it was so good. And I think for me, being an Australian, you know, they're talking about streets that I know of in Sydney. Yes, I live in Adelaide, but I've been to quite a few of these places. I have friends that live in Sydney, and her husband is ex-Navy, and they took us for a tour around the base that's there, and they even talk about the pie cart that is in Sydney, and just, it was like you're there. You can just vision being there. So I highly recommend this book, especially if you're overseas and you don't know much about Australian culture and the war, and if you'd like a perspective. I did find it pretty realistic with what she was seeing and writing about, so highly recommend this book. The next book I've just finished reading, and again as an audiobook. I did start it with the real book that I have here to show you, because I got it out of, again, a street library, and the title struck me straight away, and I was kind of there like, I wonder if it's what I think it would be. So it's called The Model Wife by Tricia Stringer. And it's about this lady called Natalie King. It says her life is full. Some might say too full. She has a full-time teaching job, a farm to run, 3 grown daughters, and she doesn't quite have a handle on things. She has a reserved husband and a demanding mother-in-law. Most days she's pretty busy to wonder whether she's happy or not. Her life has meaning, does it not? But after all, she is the person that everybody depends on. And it's quite funny because when I picked this up, I was like, oh, I wonder if they'll talk about the whole like expectations of wife and mothers and things like that. And this is kind of what this book touches on from her perspective. So when she first got married, she got handed a book called The Model Wife, and it has rules in there about how a wife is a good, like, obedient wife, and she looks after her family, she doesn't complain and things like that. And then it's her sort of rebelling against that because the book was given to her by her mother-in-law. And so the story goes through about her, suddenly being unhappy with life and just trying to figure out where she fits in the world and what's happening. And I'm not going to give anything more away. I really enjoyed this book once I got into it. And the author is an Australian author as well. Apparently she's here in Adelaide. And then that was the other thing. This book is based at a farm, probably made up, but it's outside of Adelaide. So when she's in here saying how they came to Adelaide and they came to this street and they came to this hospital, I'm like you can just see it. So that's the thing that I've really enjoyed about this book and the women's pages, that you can just visually see what they're talking about. I think it's so good. So yeah, this book is from the street library, so I will actually put this one back. So I hope that someone else gets to read and enjoy this. It's really good. And what I loved about the e-audio book, and it's probably in here, but I didn't look at it much, the author, she talks at the end of the book about the concept of the book. So she made up the Model Wife book that they talk about in the book, but based on ideas and rules that she's heard about, way back when. So she wrote a book about, wrote a made-up book about a made-up book about sort of general rules. She went and researched and talked to a whole lot of people, because this book also talks about some breast cancer and country town and just lots of stuff that is real life. So she did a lot of research to get through this book, so check it out. The book that I'm currently reading right now is called The Midwife. I absolutely love this show, and all 4 books were in one of the free street libraries. I just stood there and looked around for a minute thinking, surely not. So I've grabbed all 4 because I remember seeing, there's a picture of them at the back. I remember seeing this in a bookstore, because I often go into a bookstore, a Big W, and I'll just have a look at the shelves and I'll take photos of a whole lot of stuff. So that's another way that I will work out what books I want to get, because if you go into the library, it's just a bit overwhelming. So I usually write down any titles that are in shops, so it reminds me to check them out. And this book, although I've seen the series, again, it's like you're there, and so it's so good. It's a little bit more descriptive than the TV series, so I'm really enjoying it. Again, nearly halfway through, but it is taking me quite a while to get through it. But I think I need to hurry up and read it so I can give you some feedback on it. Next I have to read after that is called Operation Baby Lift. And it says here, in late March 1975, the Vietnam War raged as an Australian voluntary aid worker named Rosemary Taylor approached the Australian Embassy seeking assistance to fly 600 orphans out of Saigon to safely. So they are 2 former nuns from Adelaide. Oh, I'd never read that before. And they've spent 8 years in Vietnam looking after thousands of children orphaned or abandoned during this brutal time. North Vietnamese forces closed in Saigon, and the danger escalated with bombings, civil violence, food shortages, and all the realness of war. They needed to make a plan to evacuate the children, and it was truly a matter of life or death. So I'm excited to hurry up and to read this. I really do love reading sort of autobiographies like this and factual things that happened, so I'll let you know. The third thing I do for frugality, for reading and watching, is go to the library. You can join for free, and they have so many DVDs and books and audio books. Even if you can't get it on BorrowBox, you can borrow the CDs and things. And so it's so good to get a good range. They often have a lot of the DVDs not long after they hit the stores, so you can put your name down and reserve. But the latest DVDs that I've just gotten, and I could not believe my eyes when I saw it. So one of my most favorite authors growing up was, after Roald Dahl, V.C. Andrews, or Virginia Andrews. And I know that apparently Virginia Andrews was a real person and V.C. Andrews wasn't. It was a whole lot of writers together. I don't care. I don't care. All the books kind of have the same similar theme. It's kind of a family that dissolves and breaks apart, and then you go through this whole book, and then the last book takes you back to before the first book, and it's always a horrible grandmother and that's really rich, but the family's really poor, and they're kind of estranged family, and it's a whole thing. But you know going into it that's what it's going to be, and you're like, I'm in it. I remember I think it was like grade 11, did English literature, and I read Flowers in the Attic for the very first time, and I was obsessed with it, absolutely. And I've seen the movie, and how I know that I've read the book and seen the movie, we had to do oral book reports, and actually 2 of us did it on Flowers in the Attic, and we were just going on and on about how real it was and how we were there and we could see what was happening in the book. And someone got up to do their review, and she went, oh, and I was so surprised at the end of the movie where the lady da-da-da-da-da, and myself and another girl goes, she watched the movie, she didn't read the book. So the movie is completely different ending to the book. So don't stand up in an English literature class and tell everyone how amazing this book is if you've just watched the movie. Spoiler alert. So still on the theme of V.C. Andrews, I found the Castile series in DVDs. So there's Heaven, Fallen Hearts, Dark Angel, which comes second, Gates of Paradise, and then Web of Dreams. So yeah, sorry, a little bit out of order, but still, all 5 to watch them. And again, please don't watch these and then stand up in an English literature class and tell me about the books, because you will be so far that way, it's not funny. While I did enjoy watching these movies, absolutely, they are just so far removed from the book, it's not funny. I'm sitting there watching it because I think I read this book in like when I was about 17, 18, and I can vaguely recall the characters, but I've read a lot of reviews online lately, people talking about the movies, and I do agree that there's just little things in there, like how her hair color is completely different, and that's the whole point in the book, how they rave on about her hair, and in the movie she has red hair, and just lots of little things. I still enjoyed watching it, and it's just one of those things that's complete, you're like, at least you know that you have a good imagination if you read a book and you can visually concept and see all these people, and then to watch the movie go but still, it was good to sort of know that this is out there. Yeah, I did watch Flowers in the Attic, and I believe there's the second movie out, Seeds of Yesterday, but again, that was just like, did they read the book when they wrote this movie? But either or, there we go. So yeah, I'm pretty frugal when it comes to what we watch and read. If I can't get it from a library, I'll borrow it from a friend, or I'll just wait till it hits the free-to-air TV. I've never paid for Netflix or Hulu, Stan, anything like that. I probably never will, to be honest. A lot of it just doesn't interest me. I would have no idea who the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are or what they're doing. I'm a Real Housewife, I'll worry about me. Dance Mums, I'd only heard about it and seen snippets on YouTube, and so I did borrow the first DVD to the library and was like, okay. Just couldn't handle the drama, so returned it. I do like to watch Survivor, as long as you watch from episode 1. If you come in episode 2, you're a little bit lost. Apart from that, I don't watch a lot of reality TV show. I don't enjoy the drama. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of other YouTubers, and there's often some free movies and other TV shows that people probably should not have uploaded on there, but I thank you because that way I get to stick up with some of what's going on in the world. Hey guys, Future Editing Kelly here. Just wanted to jump on quick because I forgot to mention that there's 7 Plus and also 10 online that you can subscribe to, and they have a lot of shows that are streamed straight from the US, so you get to keep up to date with a lot of the popular things. That's how I'm able to watch Grey's Anatomy, ER, lots and lots of things like that. They're all there online, so check it out. Next is what do I do? And apart from running around with a chicken with my head cut off, I don't tend to do a lot of things. I sit there and play a lot of games in the evening to help my brain wind down. So I'll sit at my computer finally after about 9 o'clock at night, once I've gotten her from Zumba or any evening things we've had to do, shower, and then sit, and by about 9 o'clock I'm in for the night, as they say. So I tend to watch things on the computer, and I will be doing something else at the same time. So I play a lot of games, and I have this one game that's a favorite called 2048. It's free. You basically just match up all the tiles to get the highest score as that you can. And also I got this game from the App Store for free. It's called Zen Match. It's a little bit like Mahjong. You just match the tiles up, and that's a lot of fun as well. It's a bit frustrating though if you make a silly move and you lose a life. It takes half an hour for you to get a new life. You do get 5 at a time, so but you can chew through them really quickly. I used to play Candy Crush and a few other games like that, but now I just kind of stick to those games because they're less mind thinking. I did get a couple of years ago, when lockdown was kind of around, the Diamond Dots puzzle, and this is sort of the one that I did get, a cat, and I don't actually know where it is. How this piece of paper is on my desk, I don't know. I'm sure that I'll find it, and I really want to actually sit down and start doing it. I did get it for my daughter because she loves cats, and I thought I could do it for her, but yeah, again, I haven't even started that. What I do love to do though as well is bake, and my mum gave me this book, Gran's Sweet Pantry. She actually got it from an op shop. It cost her 50 cents, and I was actually with her, and she bought it, and she said to me, I bought you this book. And I said, oh, thank you so much. And she said, yes, because I like a lot of things in there. Thank you very much. I'll be expecting your delivery. So my job now is to go through and cook some of these things and to give them to her. But for 50 cents, how could you not? There's a whole lot of stuff in here. Typical grandma cooking things. I'm gonna be excited to be able to cook lots of things. I love cookbooks, like sweet books like this, recipe books. I'm very much a baker. I'm not much of a cook, but I love sweet treats. Well, thank you so much for joining with me today. I have loved sharing with you what I'm reading, watching, and doing right now. It has been lots of fun. I didn't know that I have read and done so much stuff. People always say to me all the time, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, I don't know. When I'm sort of out and about during the day doing YouTube stuff and Zumba and mum stuff and life and all that stuff, it's not till I kind of get home at night time that go, so yeah, I need to constantly be on the go. It's just who I am, but I love being busy. I would rather be busy than bored, not having anything to do, because I get very unsettled and just get very, I get very anxious about not having anything to do. So as long as though it's stuff that I want to do, for something that I have to do, it's like many of us. But yeah, so keeping busy is what keeps me sane. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. Let me know who your favorite author is, what you love to read, what you love to watch. Do you have any favorite TV series or any favorite movies? Lots of people will know what some of my favorite movies is, so leave a comment below if you think you can guess, especially who my favorite actor is. My regulars will know exactly who I'm talking about. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Would love to have you as part of our Frugal Fun family. But as always, I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!